right, thank you, sir. So, go back about 6 months ago, as a group, we decided what we were gonna talk about come April of this year. And we decided that we wanted to have at least a little bit of a conversation about artificial intelligence, right? That was, and at that time, I did a little bit of a cursory, I guess, research, it would be the best way to put it, looking into what artificial intelligence is, how is it going to impact us, what's the big deal? And at that time, I think it was ChatGPT 3 was out at the time, maybe 2 and change. It was kind of new in evolution. And I didn't see any sort of future for AI that was going to be really pertinent to construction at that time. That was 6 months ago. Over the last 4 days, I dove in hard. I went and looked at artificial intelligence. Where is it at in construction? Where are we at in development? Where is it going? And I'm happy to inform you that none of this presentation, including this photo that's up on the screen right now, which is an artificial intelligence's intuitive vision as to how construction is going to look with the integration of AI. Things have changed so dramatically in the last 6 months. I walked out of these last 3-4 days worth of research shaking in my boots. That's just the truth. For those of you who know me personally, I'm a computer nerd. I'm a gamer. All right. I build computers as a hobby. I've built 30, 40 computers throughout my lifetime. I play a game called League of Legends. There's what, like 1.5 million players in the United States. I'm top 1,000. Like, I'm a total nerd. I am on the side. I love technology. And I've heard about AI and where it's going. And I've heard about these new engines and everything coming up. But I had no idea how close we are right now to true artificial intelligence. So what do I mean? That this is an AI's interpretation of what construction is going to look like. I went into ChatGPT, a version, large language model version, and I said, hey, ChatGPT, can you generate a photo that incorporates the ideas of artificial intelligence in construction? And this is what ChatGPT drew for me. I was like, holy crap, what is going on? And I looked at it, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's too futuristic. And I said, hey, how about this, ChatGPT? Can you make a similar image without the futuristic machinery? And this is what ChatGPT drew me. It says, an image showing the current day construction site with a subtle integration of artificial intelligence. This scene includes standard construction machinery such as cranes and excavators operated by workers wearing safety gear. Then it says the workers are using tablets and smart glasses for 3D models and analytics. Are we there? Can we do that? We can currently do that. There are no drones in the sky. The technology is seamlessly integrated into the machinery with small sensors and displays. The equipment features circular red and white logo, symbolizing the construction company's use of AI technology. It has its own logo in mind for itself. How do you guys feel about a computer automatically producing an image like that for me? Does that blow your hair back at all? Anyone?
It seems like in a perfect world that could maybe come to fruition.
Right. There are a couple things about this image I think I'd point out while I'm here that I mean are obviously mistakes in my mind. Does anybody notice that tower crane in the back right of the photo? Anything weird about that tower crane in the back right of the photo? Something not right about it?
It'd be pretty cool if you could make a tower crane that was mobile.
That's it, right. It's a mobile tower crane. Is it possible? Could we do it?
No.
Wait, hold on. Is it possible? If
Yes.
the tracks were big enough, if the weight distribution was right, if the ballast was right, could we do it? Would that provide value to a certain number of construction sites? Depending on the cost. Artificial intelligence just dreamed it up. We don't have it as of current. What is artificial intelligence? It's a reference to this idea that we can simulate human intelligence, okay? We do this through a variety of ways. We do it through learning, the acquisition of information and rules for using the information, so a computer is able to now learn. It's able to reason, so it uses those rules to reach conclusions. And it self-corrects, as in if it provides something that's incorrect, if I were to go back to that artificial intelligence and say, hey, tower cranes can't have tracks, it would correct its thinking and it would never draw a picture again of a tower crane with tracks. It encompasses a number of technologies, machine learning and reinforcement learning. And I'll go through what that means here in a little bit, but it's very similar to what I just said. As in, if it acknowledges that what it's trying to do can't be done or isn't logical, it will learn from that and not try to apply that principle again in the future. It uses natural language processing, speech recognition. We've had these things in the past, speech recognition, but now with this machine learning, computers are able to take our speech and understand what that word that we are saying actually means rather than having it trigger an event. I'll get into this in a second. It is happening now. Using computer vision, if you have ever noticed this ability for your phones to now use LiDAR scanning, depth recognition, the number of lenses that are used in computer vision is generally 2 or more. With 2 or more lenses, a computer is able to see depth, just like we do with 2 eyes finding a target at distance. Computer vision is very much the same today. Last piece, robotics. At what depth are we looking at that right now? This artificial intelligence, this vision aims to create systems that can perform tasks that would typically require human intelligence. All right. Are all AIs the same? It's first question. We're going to keep it real basic. What exactly is AI and what's the difference between the AI systems that we have had and are going to have? The first AI is really simple. In my mind, the first AI came out somewhere around 1906 because of Honeywell. It's a thermostat. A rule-based AI, it's a sensor trigger. In the event that you exceed a temperature, you're going to turn off the heat. In the event that you're below a temperature, you're going to turn on a heat. Low fuel lights, thermostats, motion sensors when you walk into a room that will turn the lights on for you. Rule-based AI has been around for generations. It does something that a human would normally have to do, right? You're setting a rule, a criterion, and it's followed. We see these all over the place. They've been all around us for a generation. The next tier of AI that happens after that is context-based AI. We see them all the time. Again, because we're attached to these devices. Context-based AI are things like Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa. You can ask Siri, Google Assistant, and Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Expect partly cloudy skies today. Daytime temperatures will hover around 49 degrees, with overnight lows around 32.
It's always listening. It never stops. If you guys didn't catch that, my phone actually gave me feedback, which is crazy. Anyways, it considers factors based on the retained information of that system and past interactions. So for example, my phone knows that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to take a shower and I'm going to listen to music when I'm in the shower. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to pack up and I'm going to drive to the office. That's my typical every morning routine. My phone knows that I do that because it's been with me. It understands my history. Okay, and so as I'm walking out the door, it says 7 minutes to the office. Expect traffic conditions because it also knows the weather, right? it knows those things because I give it the content to understand it. Now, if I were to go ask this system a variety of other questions, a complicated math question, Pythagorean theorem, something to that effect, it would just give me a Google search. And that's the best it can do. It will Google search it for me, but it doesn't know those answers because in that context, it only does a number of things. Hey Siri, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
About as much ground as a groundhog could. Ground. How about another tongue twister?
So it can do a number of things, but those things are limited to what it is programmed to do. It
You'll
does.
need to unlock your iPhone first.
All right, the iPhone is going to the fridge. This being said, it provides a curated experience based upon what I have given it access to for information. As in my iPhone, or my Google search history, or my YouTube search history provides me a curated experience based upon what I have looked at in the past and my personality traits that it's able to interpret. I want you to listen very carefully to what I just said. It's very important for you to understand exactly what I am saying. It is a personal experience for every individual user. As in, at one point in time, I believe that Context AI lumped me into a bunch of other people that had similar interests to what I do. No, no, no. It is a personal experience just for you. Keith, if he goes on to YouTube right now, is going to get a YouTube feed that is curated just for Keith. That's scary. We're holding that much information right now under context-based AI. And you can see we're only the second tier up on the ladder from a strength perspective. Let's continue moving forward. Let's move on to narrow domain AI. Now, for us, we've seen this goes back, oh man. I remember I owned my first chess computer back in, I want to say 1994-ish, give or take. Narrow domain AI can operate one single task, and it can do it extremely well. Okay, generally speaking, narrow domain AI is built off of algorithms. As in this situation in the lower right-hand corner, if we're gonna do a algorithm-based approach to artificial intelligence for chess, for example, we can sit and figure out which piece we are capable of moving, what moves that each piece could make, and we could come up with the list of all possible moves. And then the artificial intelligence would make the best decision based upon the 300 moves that you have possible at this point in time. Okay, it's smart. The first time that we actually found success in this algorithmic approach in the chess world was in 1997 under Microsoft Deep Blue. First time that a person was beaten by a computer. The computers were finally smart enough come 1997 to beat the chess master. Now, this came off of an engine referred to as Stockfish. Now I'm going to come back to Stockfish in a second. Stockfish, again, is an algorithmic based artificial intelligence that is an open source, which means anybody can contribute to its available set of moves, its strategy base, and the like. And so Stockfish, since 1997, has continued to improve and continues to improve to this day. But again, Stockfish is, again, only algorithm based. Now, the interesting thing about Stockfish is that it's really good at playing chess. It's not good at telling you what time it is today. It couldn't do that. It couldn't tell you what the weather is like outside, but it's really good at playing chess. It does this by reviewing volumes, records, research findings, and it can go through terabytes of information within seconds and provide you a single output based upon its search criterion. And so it's very good at looking at like 1,000 moves and maybe a couple successive moves thereafter. But it would also be really good at, if I were a doctor, I'm having these type of a situation and you put it into a search engine and it's gonna provide you some sort of result, right? That would be pretty close to accurate. But it's doing it because that's the only thing it's searching for. That's the one thing it's very good at doing. AlphaGo, AI built for the board game Go, again, a single source AI, single task. It's really good at the game Go. It couldn't play League of Legends like I play League of Legends, right? It could play Go though. It finally beat a master, but it couldn't tell you what the weather's like, right? It's very good at one thing. As of right now, places where narrow domain AI are being used and are going to be improved upon, the real-time translation of language. Real-time translation of language is the big place that it's going to be going right now, but we use it in a variety of other places. Next up, after narrow domain AI, we get into reasoning AI. Simulates processing by analyzing data, connecting patterns, identifying anomalies, and drawing logical conclusions. ChatGPT is a large language model that is a reasoning AI. You guys remember that stockfish I talked about a few minutes ago? It was that algorithm-based artificial intelligence. They took stockfish and they put it up against a system that's a reasoning AI system. Now, the interesting thing about reasoning AI, all we did for that was have it watch 10,000 games. Didn't tell it any rules, didn't give it any strategy, showed it what winning looked like and showed it what losing looked like. That reasoning AI was able to draw enough conclusions and enough understanding to develop its own strategy. Reasoning AI versus the algorithmic based AI, reasoning AI wins 28 games to nothing. Just by watching. We use it a lot in autonomous vehicles, using vision, reinforcement learning, robotics, machine learning, all integrated together. And as that car drives, what's it doing? It's learning. It's learning about changing conditions. It's learning about people's driving behaviors. It's learning and constantly observing, and it provides feedback within a fraction of a second, milliseconds. This is where we're at right now in artificial intelligence. Reasoning AI. How good is it? Well, I'll give you a demonstration here in a few minutes. Next step is the Holy Grail, artificial general intelligence. The next step in the line of all of the artificial intelligence, it's often referred to as strong AI. It exhibits human-like intelligence and is generally smarter than humans. When we achieve this event, it's speculated that we'll have this thing called a singularity. And it's that point that we cannot return from. A computer is now able to acknowledge itself as its own independent being. It has its own desires, it has its own traits that are associated with that, and is then also able to build itself at its own leisure, at its own direction. Now, if you think back to the Bronze Age, right? We're making hammers and we're making knives and we're making axes and we're building them out of bronze. But then we use those bronze tools to do what? We go make better tools out of iron. And then once we end up finding all the components, we make better tools with those iron tools, we make them out of steel. That's what's happening as of current with artificial intelligence and the large language models. We are using the Bronze Age tools to make the iron tools, which will make the steel tools, which will what? Then make the titanium tools and then make the robots, and it just grows exponentially. And we're at a point now where we're using these large language models in these reasoning AI systems to build out and create what our hope is to be the holy grail of artificial intelligence, a self-sustaining being, building itself at its own leisure without our direction. It depends on who you read. It depends on which article you look at. If you look at articles that were written back in 2000, they said that we were at least 50 years away. Some people are saying we're less than 5 years away as of right now. Some people are saying we're less than a moment away. It could happen any day now. And some people are saying we've already created it, but we've not told anybody about it yet and made it public information. There are a lot of scary movies out there that you guys have seen. I'm sure Terminator is just one of them. The one that I saw most recently that was scary was Ex Machina. It's a good watch. But nobody really knows once we pass this point, this self-perpetuating point, what's going to happen, how it's going to impact us. I'll keep moving forward. This is what scared me. This is what scared me. The last three, super intelligent AI, it's when AI gains intellectual scope that far surpasses human comprehension, creating its own languages, creating its own materials, creating its own stuff that we never ever considered doing before. Self-aware AI, where it expresses needs, emotions, and maybe has consciousness. And the last set, transcendent AI, where it creates new life. Could you imagine a computer able to finding a new biological thread that they could insert into a cell so that they could create an energy source that was sustainable by growing a crop? That's transcendent AI. Where we sit right now is somewhere between reasoning AI and AGI, the holy grail. I think it's time I tell you that I have not created a single slide thus far. It's time that I tell you that this entire presentation was built by artificial intelligence. I asked ChatGPT if it could create me a picture of a robot doing construction work. This is what it envisioned. A giant robot the size of a large excavator on a job site with a massive drill in its hand. On a construction site that looks pretty new. What type of AI applications will be used in the construction industry? It's going to be focused on efficiency, safety, and decision-making. Step number one, item number one, project planning, project management. It can optimize a project planning process, including scheduling, resource allocation, historical data, and identifying the most efficient workflows. How interesting would it be if you could upload a P6 schedule and a set of drawings into artificial intelligence and ask them to build me a schedule? Look at different logic sequences. How does this track historically with our production? Does this look like an accurate estimate? This, as of current, can be done with artificial intelligence. That's number one. Number two, predictive analytics for maintenance. Putting sensors on equipment, reading those sensors. Artificial intelligence can tell you days or weeks before a piece of equipment is about to break down. It can tell you what you need to do for maintenance on it today in order for you to not have lost time during your major operation 2 weeks from now. That, as of current, is available in the realm of AI. Design optimization. AI tools can analyze countless design options and recommend designs based on criteria such as cost, time, and sustainability. One of my favorite things, when I was early in my career on the Athabasca River Bridge project, we had a secant pile wall with soil nail, like large soil nail tiebacks, and we received a design from the owner. We decided boldly to model the entire project from a 2D set of drawings and bring them into a 3D model. And in doing that, we were able to see that the tieback anchors actually conflicted with each other as the wall turned to a different angle. And they actually impacted each other. And we were able to derive an RFI months before we got to that work. It was cool, right? You're able to model it. You're able to see it in advance. How about just uploading those models into artificial intelligence and having it tell you that rather than the weeks of work we spent modeling the project? That can be done right now. Construction robotics. Robots powered by AI can perform a variety of tasks on construction sites, such as bricklaying, painting, welding. That is, as of current, available to us right now. I'll show you a couple of those. Supply chain optimization. It can forecast demand for materials, track inventory in real time, do logistics. Do you know of any organizations that might be doing this stuff right now currently? Inventory management through artificial intelligence, logistics management. Can you give me a name of a Amazon? Yeah, they use it. Could we use it? Yeah. Yeah, we could use this right now. It's available right now. Safety monitoring. You can use computer vision. AI can monitor video feeds from construction sites to identify unsafe worker behavior, potential hazards. And I think the cool part about this, you can also look at people's ergonomics. You could also see if somebody is about to have an injury.
Numetrics by Oracle is using.
Yeah, Numetric. This is available right now. Quality control. AI systems can analyze images and video from construction sites to identify defects or deviations from plans, ensuring that construction quality meets required standards. Here's something interesting about computer vision that's different than human vision. Computer vision is sharper, smarter, has access to more information and more experience. It can see things far in advance than a human can. That's the wrong material. I can tell by just looking at it as it being unloaded off the truck. How long would it take us to know it's the wrong material as soon as we're putting it in the hole? We're building work. That's kind of massive. Available right now. BIM enhancement. AI can leverage BIM data to provide insights into the construction process, facilitating better coordination among stakeholders and enhancing decision-making process. I mean, a lot of this relies on the first statement I had about uploading the model and the schedule into artificial intelligence and letting it make some decisions. Very similar here. Virtual assistants for construction management. I know Prolog is actually adding virtual assistants into their project management software, where a user, basically all they have to do is upload the information and it basically auto parses, auto doc controls, and auto does all that stuff. It's massive. But what about going onto the job site with HoloLens as a construction manager, walking around and having it feed you information as you walk so that you can make better decisions? Yet another version of a virtual assistant for you. Environmental impact analysis can assess and optimize the environmental impact of construction projects, analyzing data to suggest better materials and practices that minimize carbon footprints. Now, when I was doing research about artificial intelligence, I learned a couple of interesting things. There is a little bit of a difference between artificial intelligence and supercomputing. Okay, and so IBM has a supercomputer that they use some of these large language model reasoning exercises into. Over the last 20 years, we've been taking x-rays of one protein at a time from the human body and trying to get a 3D layout of each protein. Within a matter of days, that supercomputer with that ability to reason was able to plot every protein in the human body, something that would have taken us hundreds of years to do. It's crazy. On top of that, not just identifying the programs in the human body, there's a material out there called graphene. Graphene was derived through artificial intelligence. It's a material that was integrated and we are now using for computer building. Derived by AI. What will be AI's impact on the construction industry? This right here on the picture, on the right is a robot. The robot's name is Spot. Spot is made by Boston Dynamics. Boston Dynamics teamed up with a company that we're all familiar with, Rover Trimble. We've seen them on the job site, right? They're all over the place. This robot runs around large grading projects and takes consistent and constant survey data and stays out of the way of the equipment. It can't fall over. It doesn't get injured. Provides accurate information 24/7. And you can have it probably run around the job site 24/7 if it didn't need a charge. This is available right now. Increased efficiency and productivity, improved safety, enhanced quality, labor force transformation. The efficiency and productivity algorithms, we know all about those in project management, project planning, and design optimization. Again, I've pointed out where we can use it. I hope that you can draw the tie between where you can use it and how this might impact efficiency and productivity. Improved safety, you can actually start using this for predictive analytics based upon near misses, based upon things that are happening on the job site, but also AI likes to discuss wearable safety items or wearable technology. So for example, the watch that I'm wearing will tell you my heart rate at any point in time. And if I start approaching a domain that looks like it's unsafe, it's going to give me a warning. Same concept applies to us. Very similar ideas in construction. Not just that, it's not just Boston Dynamics that's spending a lot of time with Trimble, it's also Hilti. And Hilti is starting to develop things like exoskeletons for our workers. So yet another wearable technology to alleviate the stresses of the work that we do. Enhanced quality control, drones and robots equipped with AI can conduct various inspections. I've done this. I didn't want to go to climb to the top of every pier to look at all the bearing pads. And so we used a drone with a camera to go up there and inspect all the bearing pads with a drone. But what if we were able to have a computer just do that for us? To send out the drone to go take a look at those things? And I don't even have to pilot it. That's what this is talking about. Material management can optimize the use of materials, reduce waste. GPT does acknowledge that there might be some struggles in labor force transition. It notes that there are going to be new skill requirements for our workers. That instead of going out there and swinging a hammer every day, you might need to learn how to run a computer or to facilitate a robot. It acknowledges it. And that's concerning. What other impacts might it have? GPT says job displacement. There's a concern that automation may lead to job displacement within the industry, particularly for roles that are highly repetitive and easily automated. Oh, what's this? This is SAM. SAM is the semi-automated mason robot. You set up a track, you give it its location, and it just starts laying brick. Your job is to lay the brick, put the brick with the tongs into the machine so that it can start feeding the brick. Your other job, feed it with grout so that it can actually get them in between each brick. The last piece that you have to do is tooling the material. You do not have to handle the brick from pile to wall. This technology already exists. It's being created by a company called Construction Robotics. The other part about this that I was talking underneath challenges is the privacy aspect and data security. And we had talked about this earlier this morning. You know, there are a number of companies that won't let their employees use artificial intelligence at work. We don't really know where that information goes, how it's being used, any of that. If the question that I ask the machine or the correction that I provide the machine helps the machine become smarter, I don't know. I think it does, but I don't know. The other part about it is, especially when we're discussing wearable technologies, knowing what I know now, that all of the information that I get on my iPhone or anything is curated specifically for me. Is that wearable technology? Am I giving away too much information? Am I? I don't know. I have to look at that. I have to think about that. But if I'm on the job site and I'm required to wear a heart rate monitor that also tells me at what position I'm standing throughout the day and where I'm at on the job site, is that too much information to be giving away an employer? I don't know. Doesn't matter. The fact is that the technology is there. Sustainability and environmental impacts, again, we were talking about energy efficiency before. The last one I thought was really interesting. It didn't allude to anything specific, but the use of AI can lead to the development of new construction methods, materials, business models, fostering innovation within the industry. That's what ChatGPT thinks it has in store for us. As in, what we are doing today is not what we're going to be doing 10 years from now. As in, the materials that we're using today are not going to be the same materials we're using 10 years from now. That AI will derive and develop new things for us. And that the business model, design, bid, build, CPM, CMR, whatever, like that, those might be things of the past. Again, much like when we're looking at where we're at in AI and going to strong AI, we don't know what's next. And that's really eerie. The adoption of AI in the construction industry offers the potential to revolutionize how projects are planned, executed, and managed. While the benefits are significant, it's crucial for the industry to address the challenge head on, particularly concerning workforce challenges and ethical considerations surrounding data use. This entire presentation was built using AI. I had to search for 2 images. Everything else was derived directly from asking questions to ChatGPT. And you may be saying, but hey, Matt, it's too hard. I can't do that. I'm not top 1,000 in the United States in League of Legends, right? I'm not that. Let's take 5 minutes. Let's just do a couple of quick things in ChatGPT. Is that all right with you guys? You cool? Yeah? How can we use this to our advantage? All right. I'm going to close this. And here we go. If you want to go to yourself after this is over and you want to learn how to use artificial intelligence to your advantage, you can go here to Google, to Bing, and just type in ChatGPT. The first item that shows up is from a company named OpenAI. OpenAI are the owners of ChatGPT. And when I click that link, it's going to bring me to their website. Now, as for me, I bought the $20 a month subscription. I thought it worth it. Brooke made a funny comment earlier, right, Brooke? You remember that? You were like, hey, are you going to be singing and dancing, Matt? Remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
All right, well, hey, ChatGPT, can you draw me a photo of a construction worker singing and, oh, need a G there, and dancing? Then I just get to sit and wait for a second while it thinks about it. The interesting thing about this.
Hey, Matt,
Yeah,
I got a question. Did you notice a big difference between the 3.5 and the 4?
it's massive. It's
Is it really?
absolutely massive. It's slower, but it's smarter.
Okay. Because I use the 3.5 currently, and yeah, I was thinking about upgrading to the 4. So thank you. There you are.
Brooke, how do you feel about that one? Is that a good photo, you think?
Yeah, but I wanted to actually sing and dance. Can you make a video?
You can, yes, that through plugins and learning the resources, you can make a 1 minute video. Any 1 minute video will work. That's actually underneath something called Chat GPT Sora, which I haven't messed around with yet. But let's take a look at something. We're construction safety professionals, right? All right, so Chat GPT, I'm a construction safety professional. My team is struggling with distracted driving. Do you have any, not my keyboard clearly, on how I can help improve my team? Here are several strategies you could implement to help improve your team's focus and reduce distracted driving incidents. One is policy and enforcement. Establish a clear policy, develop consequences. Two, provide education and training, awareness training. Okay. You get the idea. It doesn't stop there. Technology and tools, employ apps or in-vehicle technologies that restrict phone use while driving. Vehicle monitoring systems. Do you see how I was able to use Chat GPT to build an entire presentation? How none of what was presented to you was an original thought. I have plenty of emotions surrounding this, and plenty of concerns surrounding this. I'll give you one more great example right here. Let's see if I can go to OneDrive. Computer's a little bit slow, it does, but. So this morning, before I got here, I went and grabbed AGC's STP contractor self-assessment. It's an internal audit that we use for any contractor that's looking to enter in the Chase partnership, or that's used on an annual basis to review your status as a Chase member. In this, we talk about safety plans, safety representatives. We have all these questions. You can see this file is the file that's typically used. It's somewhere around 11 pages worth of audit questions, give or take. All right. We all know what it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this file. I'm going to upload it to Chat GPT. I'm going to say, this is a safety, a contractor safety assessment for safety excellence. Do you have any suggestions on other items we could audit? Let's just sit back in our chair and hang out for a second, see what this thing does.
I think,
It wants us to dive into and start asking more questions about mental health and well-being. It wants us to start taking a look at ergonomics and manual handling. Environmental safety, it believes, is important. We need to start taking a look at technology and innovations. Emergency preparedness and response should probably be expanded upon. You get the idea. It reviewed an 11-page document in about 3 seconds and was able to provide me feedback as to how I can actually improve this audit. So how can you use this right now? I mean, however you want to. If you need to have an icon or a picture for a presentation, you ask it to build that for you. If you want to take a document that Doug Swenson made 20 years ago, and I find to be very effective, and you want this machine to take a look at it for you and see how it can improve it, throw it up there, ask it for feedback. We are in a very, very strange time. Like I said, 6-8 months ago, nowhere near this. Nowhere near this. So I thought.
I got a
this
question
morning
for you.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Dan. And can I say something real quick, Dan?
Yep.
I am not at all an expert in any of this. There are people on this call who I'm sure who are more experts in this domain than I am. But go ahead, Dan.
Could you take a massive file, like a 1,200 page, I'm sorry, 2,400 page SDS book, and put that in there and say, ask it if you could update any new revisions?
Yes. Yes. You know what else you could do? You could start uploading your cost reports from all your projects, and you could also start uploading all the contracts that you've signed. And you could start asking AI, where are the biggest risks within these contracts? Where am I losing the most money and where do I need to improve the most? Yes. Yes, you can. It's scary. I am for sure gonna be without a job soon. Like, I am certain to be without a job soon.
Hey, Matt,
Yeah,
we're currently working or looking, exploring with a company called Document Crunch. And they do a lot of these things that you're talking about, contracts, and they will spit out a report that identifies where certain contract language is found, and it's not just contracts, it's like you're saying about the SDS. So yeah, they're doing it right now.
yeah. I mean, honestly, like I'm not gonna take any contractor's information and put it onto Chat GPT. That's not fair. You know, as you come into Chase, one of the first things we ask for is a safety manual, just so that I can review what your policies look like. And I do that by hand, and I look at some key sections and areas. But in reality, I mean, I could just upload that document to Chat GPT and say, is this missing anything that's identified within our safety audit, the one I just uploaded here? So uploading 2 files, having them cross-reference and have it do the checks for me. And it would do it within a matter of seconds.
And then you could have it write those policies that it's missing.
Exactly. And then you can have it write the policies that it's missing. Yes.
I can't remember who just asked that other question, but if the 4, I was just looking at it as well. The 4 that you have to pay for, that's the one that you can upload documents into and it'll draw pictures for you. The free one is just text-based, just so everybody knows that.
Yeah, I should say that. The $20 a month does offer what's called Dolly, and I guess it's an add-on to ChatGPT that allows some additional functionality like the uploading of files. But not just that. So, and I was taking a look at this. What you can do in ChatGPT 4 is go into a number of the extensions that ChatGPT has. Adobe. You know, if you want to write code for a program or like a document management system, you can write code using ChatGPT. There's an extension for that. Social Butterfly for content development, strategy for how we're going to be producing messages as an organization. There's Software Architect. There's a lot of just different applications and tack-ons to ChatGPT that are available for free that you also get as a result of the upgraded membership to ChatGPT. But you know, they've got sums. Let me turn your imagination into imagery. That was something that I did with the photos I was asking for. There's one, and I gotta do this real quickly. I have to show you this. Open AI Sora. And so Sora from OpenAI is an add-on that's coming. Now, a couple things that are interesting about Couple things that are interesting about Sora, they're trying to figure out how to add safeguards to things, like, is it possible that I could upload a picture of myself and have it change the background or the environment? Yeah, with the technology that we have, that's super easy to do compared to the other things that we're doing, but there's a safeguard in place that won't allow that to happen. You know, and security, so they're trying to work around to make sure the deep fake things don't happen, that we don't take a person and put them in an environment we're not supposed to. There's a lot of security aspects involved. And I assume that's what's happening here with Sora. And so this is actually a video that was created by artificial intelligence at 1 minute long. This is straight up out of thin air. And the request was something to the effect of, I would like a woman walking down the streets in Japan. And that's the video that was created through Sora. How about this one? This is another video that was created through artificial intelligence. Each of these are about 1 minute long in total through Sora. I would like a video of a flyover of an old Western town. Artificial intelligence is so intelligent right now, it can mimic human movement. It sees how we move. The request here was, I would like to see a person running backwards on a treadmill. What do we have? We have a person running backwards on a treadmill. Do you see where it made a mistake? The person is running backwards, he's not running backwards. Kind of interesting. Even dogs. Artificial intelligence understands how people move.
I think that's a
This-
really important thing that you just showed with any AI is it can make things up and not necessarily 100% accurate. So ultimately, if you're using it to help with, you know, a safety manual or a procedure, you know, it's probably gonna get 80 or 90% correct, but there's still that human factor of, does this really make sense, or is this real?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The,
you're exactly right, James. You have to proofread it and add in a little bit of the human element to what it does create, for sure.
Yeah, that document, I think the other thing is the difference between open AI and generative AI, where you're enclosing, and I might have this wrong, but open AI is really a public, you know, it's going through all the internet. Whereas when you have a generative AI, it's literally looking within a specific domain or a specific, like Zurich, we have Zurich chat, which is only working within Zurich. So it doesn't publish any of our stuff out to the web. It does pull stuff in from the web to add to ours, but I think that's you know, from data security and you know, why companies are can be I lost my thought on that, but you know, revealing their, you know, what makes them different.
A lot of conversations are gonna be had within the next year or two. There are other features to this too that I don't bring up. And I'm gonna enter into a domain that's going to be the edge of political position. But I don't want it to be perceived as such, but there are certain things that you need to consider when thinking about this. A lot of people consider Elon Musk a political individual. You can have your position on that, that's fine. He has one very socialist viewpoint of a universal basic income. And the reason why he's been pushing a universal basic income for so long, or a handout basically to every person in the country, he envisions that a lot of this technology will swallow up a large portion of our workforce's jobs. And there's just not going to be the opportunity available for a large. I mean, if you think about it, and I don't, you know, think about accounting, for example, if you could just upload a cost report and say, hey, where are we making money and where are we losing money? Like, do we need that accountant still? I as of right now, yeah. Think about somebody that's gonna be doing marketing for an organization, right? I was able to draft a photo of exactly what I wanted within a minute. I mean, some of the photos I had yesterday where I uploaded my logo, I asked to put it on a piece of equipment. Yeah, no problem. Done. Right? And so it's something to consider coming down the pipeline. It's just keep it in the back of your mind. I don't know how true it is. We don't know what's gonna happen when we get into strong AI. We don't know what that looks like. It's a bridge that we've only seen in science fiction. Another thing to bring up is it's in regards to, with this artificial intelligence, what values are installed or instilled into the AI now is going to be impactful 20 years from now. Okay, so for an example, and I hate to bring this up because it can be such a controversial topic, but just take this as an example of one of many catch-22s. We tell artificial intelligence, and it is of the belief, and we're going to use an arbitrary 3 months for abortion. Okay, and now artificial says at 3 months thereafter, it's not okay. And all of a sudden, now we've given it some sort of a choice and some sort of a thought process that at that 3 month mark, that value is going to be upheld. 20 years from now, it starts having a conflict. Are you sure that number was 3 months? Because I think, Matt, you're 44 and we're looking at you, 44-year-old Matt. Is it 3 months or is it nothing, or is it 44 years, or what is it? And it will create a feedback loop that is very concerning. Now, that is just one value. I don't want to get into it too much, but realize that the values that we instill into artificial intelligence right now are what will be built upon 20 years from now. And that's scary, right? So let's say, for example, gain of function testing, we say it's bad. But it transcends into super artificial intelligence, and it's like, no, it's good. And I know it's good because I've seen the outcomes. Conflict, and it's concerning. The last piece, like I was saying, there are a lot of movies out there that portray what it's going to be happening when we hit the singularity. Some of them show atomic war, some show machines versus humans. There are a lot of fan theories. There are a lot of ideas. I'm of the ex machina school of thought that computers are going to be so hyper intelligent, they're going to see us as consequential as ants. That's where I sit, which I think is more scary, quite frankly, than having a machine trying to come and kill me. So, I wanted to talk about this for just about an hour. I think we've covered about an hour. I'd love any feedback, thoughts, concerns. Are people shaking in their boots? Are you more likely to go jump on? Are you going to try Chat GPT? Just check it out and see what you can ask it to do. I mean, anyone? Bueller?
I've done it.
Oh,
was doing it,
absolutely.
Matt. I was doing it,
What was
Matt,
that?
during the meeting here, and I asked how I could better utilize my safety committee, and I got a 10-point dissertation, I guess, back. And then it's also just planned for me a 10-day vacation in Banff. So,
Oh, there you
Nice.
go. I like that. National Park up there in Calgary.
You know,
I
one
like
thing
those.
something I really found is whatever your first question is, whatever your first prompt, it's called a prompt, is you start having a conversation with it, so it continues to improve upon, you start out with, a safety manual, and then, oh, I forgot to put construction. Can you add in that this is about construction? Can you say in the northern United States or something like that? It's pretty fascinating how you can go down the rabbit hole with this.
Yeah, it's and I haven't even started diving into the add-ons. I know in the gaming community, they're starting to use artificial intelligence for anti-cheat. They've been using it for non-playable characters, computer driven characters in games and stuff like that. Stuff that I never thought would ever be utilized for. For example, if you were to have a camera with artificial intelligence in your car, it could track your eye movement. And know if you're tired, know if you're paying attention to the road, or if you're watching your phone, like it can do that. Like that's
Sam
what we're
Sarah.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Disgusting.
Well, you guys, I hope you learned something, and I hope you're not as afraid of it as I am. I know that we've got a number of resources available that we'd be able to put you in contact with here. So if you have any questions or need any support on this, please feel free to reach out to me. There's one last thing I wanted to say. I've had 3 or 4 people reach out to me over the last couple of weeks who have safety professionals who are graduating from universities that are looking for internship level positions with organizations locally. If you have a need for a safety intern this summer, please reach out to me, because I will put you in contact with a number of qualified people who are looking to make that transition into our group. So, are there any questions about that? All right. You guys have a great week. Again, I think we're canceling May, so thank you for a great year, and we'll see you in the next rodeo.
Thank you, sir. Awesome. Thanks.
Great job,
you.
Matt.
Thank you.
Great job, Keith and Matt. I love the contrast between machines and humans. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you.
On the first presentation, I know this is recorded and we can see the recording. Is the presentation material available? I'd love to.
Yeah, the entire
Review that.
presentation today is going to be available. Yes.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
So thank you for the.
Yeah, absolutely.